Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Woo! What's up, everybody? Playoff edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. I am Duane from Two Goalies, One Mike. Brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on, we find it, where's the logo? There it is, on George Urban Boulevard here in Buffalo, New York. For all your playoff game night needs, whether it's the Leafs playing the Lightning, the Rangers playing the Devils, right now the Avalanche playing the Kraken. So many great first-round matchups here to kick off the NHL playoffs on night number 2. And no matchup better. I think not much more anticipation than the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs hosting the Lightning tonight in Toronto, of course. A lot of expectations, especially after the trade deadline that they had, bringing in bodies like Jake McCabe and Ryan O'Reilly, just name a couple. Big question mark in net, obviously. Murray not able to go due to injury, so they had to rely on Samsonov, and they get absolutely roasted tonight. 7-3, some controversy, yes, I guess you can say that. I mean, there was questionable calls on each side, but, I mean, questionable calls aside, that's not the reason they lost. They lost because they didn't show up tonight. They lost because Bunting took a stupid elbowing penalty to the head of Cernak, ending his night right after Hedman left the game and never returned. So the Tampa was without their top 2 defenders from pretty much most of the second period on. I would say probably 35 minutes of the game, they were without their top 2 defenders. And there's really no excuse for losing. There just isn't. You didn't have to deal with potentially the best defenseman in the last decade. Cernak, another very, very, very reliable top-line defender for the Tampa Bay Lightning, a guy who plays a very physical, brutalizing game. To deal with him, even though the way he left the game, I'm sure, hopefully he's okay. I know people, tend to say, what goes around comes around with him. But again, you never like to see a guy with a head injury. I don't care who it is. You only see head injuries in any sport. So with that being said, Toronto just, again, roasted 7-3. Kucherov getting on the board, Cirelli getting on the board. Everybody was in on it tonight for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And there was a lot of chatter coming into this, too, that fans really – and I'll admit, I was, too. I always thought, okay, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning – I think the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think this might be the year they finally get that monkey off their back and break this first-round play. They get through the first round. If that's what we're going to see, no, they're going to get swept 100%. You're still going up against guys like Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov, until we hear otherwise, Victor Hedman, Anthony Cirelli, Braden Point, just an absolutely stud lineup still with so much playoff experience. That team's essentially played almost 4 years of hockey in the last 3. Pretty damn close to it. I'd say, 3 and 4 quarters season. 3 and 3 quarters of a season in 3 seasons, with the amount of playoff hockey they've played on top of, regular season play in the last 3 years. It's wild, how good they've been and how long. And I just don't understand why anyone would expect otherwise, especially if Vasilevsky turns it on. I mean, he by himself can win a playoff round. So, again, I don't really think anybody should have felt overly confident going into this series that this wasn't going to be a slugfest. Are they going to get swept? No, probably not. But again, if you don't figure it out quick, especially when you're hosting games 1 and 2, and at least split this home and home series, the first 2 games, you're in trouble going back to Tampa Bay, because we know how electric it is down there in Florida when the Tampa Bay Lightning host a playoff game. It's if they go down 2-0, I'm calling it right now. It's either over in 4 or over in 5. Just I that was never faithful in their goaltending. Never. Samsonov and Murray, I just never saw them as being the two guys that were going to really get this monkey off their back. I maybe win them a playoff series, but I never viewed them as a tandem that was going to carry you deep into the playoffs. I don't care what you do with your lineup. I understand Dubas is like, well, if we can't keep the puck out of the net, let's try and score as much as we can. Well, Ryan O'Reilly came through tonight, with Toronto's first goal, and they made it 3-1. And then William Nylander with an absolute beautiful snipe from the top of the circle, was so patient on that, threw it far corner, and Vasilevsky threw a screen. He never saw it at all. I don't think he saw the shot even get taken. But then, again, due to poor game management penalties, you went from 3-2 back to, I think it was 5-2 pretty quickly. So, I just – listen, I'm friends with a lot of Leafs fans. I'm friends, whether it's in real life or on social media. Like, I respect the hell out of you guys. I really, really do. All jokes aside, all memes aside, all videos aside, I really, really respect the hell out of you guys, because at the end of the day, you guys, just like us Sabres fans and for us Bills fans for the longest time, and obviously a lot of you share some of that Bills fandom with us being the closest NFL team with you guys just north of the border. We know what that's like. We know how much that sucks. And so I can relate. I really, really can. And honestly, if you guys do find a way to get through the first round, I'll be happy for you. I really will. As much as I enjoy, the online side of things, ripping on the fan base, ripping on the Leafs, all love from me to you guys. I really, truly do mean that, because I know as a Buffalo sports fan what that's like. It sucks. And hopefully things are on the up and up for us Sabres fans going into next season, and that rivalry like be hot again, like it was in the 90s and the early 2000s. But I digress. Leafs lose 7-3 game 1 of the opening round on night number 2 of the NHL playoffs. And again, there was just a lot of expectations for this Leafs team. Again, with what they did at the deadline, everything that the moves that Dubas made, kind of mortgaging a lot to put this team in the best position, not just to score more, but to defend, because they never had a problem scoring. They just don't. You have Austin Matthews, you have Mitch Marner, you have Alex Nylander, you have Ryan O'Reilly, who's capable of putting the puck in the net now, that acquisition. But you also needed that do a better job defending, because I think of the lack of consistency you have in that. That's why you went out and got Ryan O'Reilly, because his ability to play such a strong two-way game. That's why you went out and got Jake McCabe. And I think he's a very underrated defenseman. I love his game. I don't know, man. If you go down 2-0 going into Toronto, going back to Tampa Bay, I think that's too steep of a hill to climb. I really, really do. And that barn, that team's, they looked energized tonight. They looked ready to go. And I said this too in the 2 weeks latest, because it's always been kind of prevalent, evident that this was going to be the first round matchup for the Leafs and Tampa. I always felt that Tampa is more built to win that matchup because of how brutalizing and physical the first round can be. People like to talk about, Corey Perry is a dirty player. Pat Maroon, he's out there to do one thing. But yeah, those guys are out there to do those things. And, they're out there to play that physical style. And you saw it out there tonight. You saw it out there, especially with Corey Perry. Like, he had a major effect on that game. His ability to forecheck in the offensive zone, to play a really physical brand of hockey, to play with an edge. Same thing with Pat Maroon. That's what they're there for. That's why those guys are so valued in the playoffs, because they can play that style of hockey. Some people seem to think that maybe Wayne Simmons should have been a guy that was brought into this lineup just for that reason. And I'm not saying I agree, but I definitely don't disagree. I just you need that type of style of hockey sometimes, especially in the first round, where, things are a little bit more loose, more physical, more brutalizing. And I just think Tampa Bay just has those guys in their lineup that are more built for that brand of hockey. And I just don't see the Leafs. They don't have that. They just don't. You look up and down that lineup and you try and find those guys. I like Jake McCabe. He plays a very physical brand of hockey, but he hasn't really played much playoff hockey in his career. I don't know if he played much made it to the playoffs with Chicago. I don't believe he did. Because they've been, again, a shit show the last 2 seasons. Definitely never. I don't think he ever, never played a playoff game with Buffalo. So you look at that, you look at that, like, is that the only guy that's gonna go out there and play like a really physical brand of hockey? I know Michael Bunting does. He got fucking thrown out because he threw an elbow to Serenak's head, and there's no questioning that. That's what he did. That's 100% what he did. He got thrown out for a dirty elbow on Serenak, and it deservedly so. He should have been. We'll go through the box score here. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, scoring went to Nikita Kucherov with a goal and 2 assists. Corey Perry, again, I said he had a major impact on this game. 1 goal, 2 assists, and he had 7 shots on net, believe it or not. Anthony Cirelli, a goal and an assist. Ross Colton, a goal and assist. Braden Point with 2 goals. Belmar with a goal. Ian Cole with an assist. Brendan Hagel, Alex Killorn, Perbix, and Sergachev all with assists. And again, even though he didn't face, he faced some tougher quality of shots, and obviously his night wasn't as busy as both the Toronto goaltenders. But Andrei Vasilevsky, the Cat, 28 saves on 31 shots, did his job tonight. And you don't really want to allow that guy to really get hot, because if he gets hot and you don't get on him early and quick in game 2, and he's feeling really good heading back to Tampa Bay, his series is over. Again, that's a goaltender who can single-handedly win a playoff series by himself. There is zero questioning that. I don't care how much he's played over the last 5 seasons, in terms of both regular season and postseason. He is an absolute monster in the net. And when he gets hot and when he's feeling good about himself, there's no better goalie in the league, in my opinion. Mitch Marner for the Leafs. Mitch Marner with 3 assists. Austin Matthews with 2 assists. Cale Yamark with a goal. Willie Nylander with a goal. Ryan O'Reilly with a goal. Johnny Tavares with an assist. And that was really it for scoring. I forgot too. Sam Lafferty was an acquisition for you guys at the deadline. You forget some of these names. Luke Shen. I was big on Luke Shen for Buffalo too. I love his game. I always hoped that maybe Buffalo would try and make a move for him if they were going to really truly make a playoff push, and they decided to go with Riley Stillman instead. I mean, yeah, that is what it is. But yeah, I just TJ Brody too. They brought in TJ Brody, another big acquisition for them. They did things on both sides, offensively and defensively, to try and make this team built to win a playoff series. But it doesn't matter when your goalie just does not show up for you. He literally just does not show up. Samsonov was never 6 goals, 6 goals against on 29 shots. And then they brought up Joseph Wool, the rookie. He let in 1 goal and I got 5. Again, that third period was over. So they were just trying to get out of that alive. You saw Tampa Bay not taking too many chances physically or defensively, especially after losing both Hedman and Serenak. You don't want to take too many chances in your own and possibly going down another defender. You didn't even see him attempting to block shots. I mean, that's the last thing they need to. And again, I'm not, as a Leafs fan, I don't think you should be rooting for injuries, but I mean, I guess you would hope that Hedman and Serenak can't go for game 2. Give yourselves the best opportunity to win, even though that's not how I like to think. I want to beat the best team that Tampa Bay can field out on the ice, but if that gives you the better opportunity to win, I guess you should hope for that. They're not ready to go for game 2. I mean, again, we don't know the extent of the injuries. I'd assume Serenak was a head injury, and I did not see the extent of the Victor Hedman injury. Oh, you have some comments here from hockey and Leafs fans. From Gar. Let's see here. Woo, laughs, blow. Thank you, Aaron Griffin. I don't know how long I'm going to be on, but I had to pop in to say two things. McCabe should get a hearing. Agreed, 100%. One, Oilers fans are trash, and I hope the Stars want to go after the disgusting booing and throwing things after Game 1 OT loss. Two, fuck Toronto. They are ready and primed to do it all over again. Dubois way overcooked this team at the deadline. 6 new players is too much. I agree. He mortgaged a lot, and if you can't get things figured out and you get bounced in the first round again, I am telling you, man, I know it's just rumors. Money talks, bullshit walks. But, I mean, you got to think Austin Matthews wants to win. And if they can't get this shit figured out this season, he's gone. And his and Nylander's contract are both up in the same year. And William Nylander is probably one of the most underappreciated goal scorers in the National Hockey League. And that guy could potentially be on the market too. Again, if things aren't looking up for this organization, especially if they don't get Pat Dubas is gone, you got to imagine Sheldon Keefe is gone. They're going to completely blow it up, I think. 100%. Toronto fans still weren't classless enough to do what Oilers fans did at the end of a blowout. Agreed. I think Oilers fans, they were also upset because the high sticking call, even though that was a blatant high stick on that goal in overtime that was called back. I think they were more upset with the officiating with that than they were with their team. But I mean, they're definitely have every right to be upset with their team, but I think they were upset with that more, the high stick goal reversal. Tampa Bay was totally hiding in the weeds for the playoffs. They knew what they were doing. I don't disagree with you. Samsonov, this is a direct quote from Samsonov. I played like shit today. Yeah, no shit, you did. Let's see, Chris Durick. Again, I think this team has already quit on Keefe and Dubas. That's my thought right now. I don't know if they've quit on him, but I think that and I'll post it, I'll bring it up on this. I'll share my screen. That facial expression after I think like the 6th goal said it all from Austin Matthews. How about 4 of the top 10 goalies were on 2 teams 2 years ago? Vanacek and Samsonov on Washington, and Shesterkin and Goryev in New York. That's what we got with UPL and Levi. Let's keep them both. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I could see them keeping UPL. I could see them, parting ways with them and trading them. I could see either thing happening. It really can go either way. Bunting gets an automatic carry, right? At least one game. I have to imagine. I mean, that was a blatant elbow to Serenak's head. And I guess you can say everything you want about Serenak. I understand he is a guy who play with an edge. He's skated on the line of controversy a lot so far in his career. So you could say what goes around comes around. But at the end of the day, you never like to see a guy go down with a head injury. That's their livelihood. They have lives after hockey and families. And I don't want to see a guy, lose his marbles during whether it's a regular season game or a playoff game. That's just my opinion. You're 100% correct, Duane. Tampa is the perfect team to counter Toronto. I talked about it with a friend. What was Toronto? That was Toronto's worst matchup. Agreed. Again, they play with a high-level elite skill, but they can also play a physical brand of hockey with guys like Corey Perry, with guys like Pat Maroon, and Serenak too, even though he got knocked out of the game. Those guys play a physical style with an edge that's perfect for the playoffs. Excuse me. Yeah, but I don't know. I just I think that, again, I've said it a couple times, but you really hope that Sheldon Keefe gets these guys in order for game 2, because if you don't, it's either over in 4 games for a sweep, or it's over again, it's over in 5. I don't even see it getting past 5 games, to be 100% honest with you. It's definitely going to be a long road. And I hope they really think things through here, because if they don't get their act together, again, it's going to be a short series. I do want to share my screen with you on a few things. I love making memes. I love, whenever Toronto's in the playoffs, especially on nights like this where they're really just, pissing down their own legs. So I'll just share the screen to show, again, I want to show the Matthews expression, because I think that really said it all. I believe this was after the 6th goal. Again, this expression really says it all, right? Look at that. No caption needed. I mean, the look of he's dumbfounded, because I don't think I don't think I really do think Toronto, while you should feel good about yourselves, while you should play with swagger and play with confidence, I think they did not take this Tampa Bay team seriously enough. I know this does not seem like Tampa Bay teams of the past 5 years, but again, you still have the elite talent of Steven Stamkos, of Nikita Kucherov, of Braden Point, Anthony Cirelli, all these guys up and down that roster who have been in these situations before, have won before. Brendan Hagel, 30 goal scorer this season. You know, you forget about him sometimes. Sneaky 30 goal scorer. Again, this team is just full of elite talent, just offensively. And then you look on their blue lines, you know, Sergachev, Hedman, you know, Cernak. This team is just full of players, offensively, defensively, that are built to win in the playoffs, that are just been there in every single situation. And then you have a world-class goaltender like, you know, Vasilevsky in net, who by himself can win you a playoff series and might just do that for them. He might not even have to, honest to God, because, you know, if you show up like that, you don't need your goaltender to pull this out on his own. You just don't. Another video here. I had so much fun on Twitter. Here we go. Bring it up. Look at this. This is a very accurate description of what it's like to be a Leafs fan.
What is he doing? He's throwing away the bat.
One more
He seems
time.
to be crawling away from the goal. What is he doing? He's throwing away the bat.
Open net, winning your first playoff round, hit the crossbar and smoking your fans in the face with all their hopes and desires. I could watch that on repeat. I love it. Absolutely love it. Few more. Again, I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of it. So a few more. One more, my favorite one that didn't get as much love as I'd hoped on Twitter. Bring it out right here. Where is it? Where is it? We find it. Oh, there it is.
What's that smell?
For all you Seinfeld fans out there, again, you can never get enough of these types of funny memes and videos. Here we go. Austin Matthews, the moment his contract expires.
What's that smell? Smoke? Everybody, I think I smell some smoke back here.
I love it, man. I have so much fun with it. And again, all love for Toronto fans. You know, you guys give me a lot of shit for my Sabres too. You can't even deny it. You do. Let me see. I have one more. See if I can find it. My reaction. One of my reactions to a Leafs goal tonight, or a Tampa Bay goal tonight. It was, they gave up 2 goals tonight. 2 goals. With less than 30 seconds or 3 seconds remaining in the period. And it just blows my mind. Like, the worst time to ever give a goal is right at the end of a period, in the first and the second, because it's just a big momentum shift. And this made me cackle. This was funny. Right here. Hold on. Boom.
Trying to hang in. Final 5 seconds. Tavares, who is serving the penalties, come out.
And you get the infamous Austin Matthews look there.
Hold on.
One more time.
One more time. Just one more time. Come on, one more time.
Just watching. Seconds winding down. 2-man advantage, of course.
Hold on. There we go.
Little backhand just along the ice. Samsonov doesn't seal the ice. Right through the 5-hole. And you almost felt it coming as you were watching it, because you knew that they had the 2-man advantage. Ended, it was only a 1-man advantage. And you just knew that was coming because you saw how the first period ended. I think it was like 2.5 seconds left. And then they scored that with 1/10 of a second left. They couldn't keep the puck out of their net. And it was over right then and there. If it wasn't over before that, it was over right then and there. And you saw the expression on Austin Matthews' face. The same expression that all Toronto fans have tonight after that game, because it's just, you know, it's mind-numbing. It's absolutely mind-numbing that, you show up with such a lack of intensity tonight. You really did. Mauricio, Thanks for popping in. The Golden Goose is being slayed. Lightning players, lots of injuries. Need ice baths and pool party. Toronto started getting chippy early, and I told my friend they don't want to do that to Tampa and get Tampa to play their more physical game because they will destroy them, and they did. Yeah, it's what happened. Like they can't match up with Tampa physically. You can't. So you don't want to play that style of hockey. You want to try and guard them into special team situations where you get the power play and use that power play unit that's done so well for you all season. Get them on their heels. Austin with the 1,000-kilometer stare. That's exactly what that was. Where's the clown show? Right? Again, I appreciate the love on the videos. Again, but I don't want to take up too much time tonight. Again, had to jump at the opportunity to hop on here with you guys. Toronto loses 7-3. Game 1 of the opening round of the playoffs. And it's just been a ton of fun, over the years watching the Leafs just choke in the playoffs. But all due respect, I do think if they can tie this up in Toronto in game 2, this series goes 7 games. They need to win game 2 because I just don't see them pulling it out, going down 2-0 into Tampa Bay, into that arena, because that arena is electric in the regular season, let alone the playoffs. They're going to make those walls shake down in Tampa. There you go, into Tampa up 2-0. So win game 2. I think you push this to 7 games, really make a series out of it. If you lose game 2, and you got all the wind out of your sails, and I think the series will be over. With that being said, guys, hey, thanks for hopping on. This has been I'll Hang Up and Listen NHL Playoff Edition. I think we're going to record tomorrow a new episode of Two Goalies One Light to kind of give our Sabres season recap, highs and lows, more in detail. Ryan Drury, returning guest, friend of the program, is going to be on with me and Hurls, and hopefully one special guest. We'll see if he has the time to come on with us for a short amount of time. Hopefully. But remember, guys, I'm brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on George Urban Boulevard. Don't waste, don't haste, get over, buy a case. Love you guys. Be well, and let's go hockey.